First of all, hallelujah!
It is 4th and 26. McNabb is back. He's looking. He is firing, and it is caught by Freddie Mitchell.
And Pizarczyk fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herman Edwards. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Jackson takes it at the 35. Picks it up. Looks for running room. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. Midfield. Oh! He's going to go! The short back. Oh! I don't care if he's short. He's running around. And he's in the end zone. And he's still going. And the Eagles win. Bring it back again. He steps up his head and falls forward. And he fumbles the football and the Eagles have it. And it's recovered. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sundays for the Birds, a proud production of Old City Sports Network, the only podcast, the only show, the only three idiots that you allow into your ear holes that make every day feel like a Sunday. Those three idiots, of course, are me, the mayor of John Street, and my two co-hosts, one Jake Long and one Kyle, not so sharp. Kyle, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. It's been a rough week, long week. Ready for some football on Sunday, little Eagles game on Monday.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, I'm liking all these weekday games. I know a lot of people don't like them. Oh, I gotta get up for work. Well, you know what? You're not a real Eagles fan then if you're bitching about getting up for work on time, you know? But no, I love it because I get to enjoy the rest of the NFL slate on Sunday. Maybe gamble a little bit more than I should, but we'll dive into that in our not so sharp segment this week. Jake, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm one of those guys that hate primetime games, but that's just me. It's because I usually drink half a 30-pack and a whole fifth of rum during a game. So doing that and up till midnight and getting up at 6 is a little rough when you can't just start drinking again to keep the buzz going because you got to get into work. Other than that, I'm real tired of these goddamn leaves that anytime you clean them up, the next day your yard looks good, and then you come home from work and there's fucking leaves everywhere again. So tired of
You just got to leave them, man.
Ready for them to go.
Now, you know what you got to get? You got to get one of those leaf vacuums.
Yep.
Like sucks them up and grinds them, bags them for you.
Yeah, I mean,
that?
I have huge leaves in the one side of my yard. It's like fucking 12 by 12 inch leaves, and that's the one tree that's not completely finished dropping its leaves. I'm not touching that side until they're all off the fucking tree.
Did you ever
While we're
consider
bitching
maybe
about
cutting some
leaves,
trees down?
I want to cut trees down. I got a price for it though, and it's like fucking $5,000 a tree. Because they're not small trees, they're fucking.
Oh, you got some mammoth Johns then.
Yeah, and then they're near power lines and houses, so it jacks everything up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fuck that noise. While we're bitching about leaves, I got a quick one, and then we'll move on to football. So you know how at your place of work you have your parking spot?
No, not. I know that's a thing, but not at mine.
Oh, it's a thing, man. I got my spot. I park there every day, and it just so happens to be under a tree. Now, I didn't choose this spot last fall. I chose it through the summer months, and it's underneath of this tree. It's a nice tree. It's kind of shaded. Keeps the car a little cooler in the summer months. Great parking spot. Front row, right by the door. Motherfucker, when them leaves started falling, the whole car is covered. They're wedged down in on top of the windshield wipers.
You watch your air filter too. They're probably all fucking clogged in there.
Yep. So, long story short, I got to find a new parking spot. Not happy about it. But let's dive into the football. Let's just dive right into the Eagles and the Houston Texans. And the score of that game, I believe, was 29-17 off the top of my head.
Yep.
Pretty good memory right there.
There we go. 29-17, a little closer in the end than the game really was.
Recap.
What's that?
So launch the recap, and then we'll hit it.
Oh, shit.
Week 9 recap with Sundays for the Birds. On 4th and goal, Miles Sanders burst through for a 2-yard score. Hargrave buries Mills for one of his 3 sacks. And Gainwell joins the party with a 4-yard touchdown. Long neck Mills gets pressure and throws it up for C.J. Garner-Johnson to make a great interception and a nice return. Jalen Hurts plays pitch and catch with his favorite target, A.J. Brown, for a 17-yard touchdown. 2nd and goal, Hurts rolls out and finds Dallas got her wide open for the score. And to seal the game, Brad Berry with the interception right in front of the end zone. Your Birds, 29-17. 8-0. Go Birds.
That beautiful little recap there of the Week 9 action was put together by our very own Jake Long. If this is something you guys want to see more of, make sure you dive into the comments section. Thank Jake for all his hard work and let him know you want to see this every single fucking football week. So as you heard in the recap there, Miles Sanders with another rushing touchdown. Kyle, you got to give you your flowers, brother. You're right about Miles Sanders. But I am maintaining my stance that I do not want them to re-sign him because running backs are a dime a dozen.
Agree. 100% agree with that.
Absolutely. So what are your initial thoughts on the game, boys? Jake, I'll start with you.
It was real ugly. I don't know if I texted you guys. I think I texted everybody on my phone after the game. It's nice when you can play like crap and still win by 12. I mean, because it was not our best game all around. Our defense was lazy. The offense was sluggish sometimes, but they looked all right. You know, once they got going, they got going. The defense worries me with tackling. I'm hoping it's just the short week, the Thursday night game. I'm sure they're preaching it in practice to wrap up and bring people down because they got some good running backs coming up here on the schedule. So that was my biggest worry was the defense, and I think they averaged 5.3 yards a carry, which isn't good. We're missing Jordan Davis at this point. It's, odd to say about a rookie D tackle, but he really was starting to clog up the middle and helping our run defense, and you're seeing his absence take a toll on us right now.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurts not having big body Jordan Davis there in the middle to just eat blockers and bring down running backs. And, I kind of share a similar frustration to you in this respect, Jake. I mean, you knew that Damon Pierce was their entire offense. You knew they were going to run the ball. Nothing but Neck Mills can't throw all that great, nor does he have anybody to throw to, especially with Cook sitting out because he wanted to be traded, and Houston said, we ain't letting J.J. Watt walk out the door again. So, I mean, when you know that they're going to try and run the ball down your throat, and you can't just throw your nuts on the table and fucking stop them. You know it's coming. You know what's coming. All's well that ends well. We won the fucking game, but I need a better rush defense. We have way too much money on that defensive line to allow 5+ yards a carry.
First off, let's not disrespect my guy J.J. Watt by comparing Brandon Cooks' impact for what he's done for the city and the team and the organization to what J.J. Watt's done. That's a huge slap in the face to J.J. Watt. Let's.
No, it wasn't a slap in the face to J.J. Watt, or at least it wasn't meant to be. That was more like, hey, we're not letting another star player walk out the door.
I get what you're saying, but not even in the same realm. Those two guys. That's the first thing. Second off, I understand the frustrations. The run defense wasn't great. There's no question Jordan Davis is a very good run stuffer. That's what he is. But at the end of the day, sometimes teams just outplay you. Sometimes they just do. And that's what their running game did versus the Eagles' run defense. I don't think it's a huge issue. I don't think it's a worry. Sometimes teams just beat you in certain aspects. In the end, the Eagles did more stuff to win the game, and they're the better team. And it kind of panned out how we thought, right? Like we were all saying 31-13, 31-17. They struggled to start the game, but then they finished strong. They kind of did a reverse of what they've been doing these last couple of weeks. I don't think the run game's a huge issue that we really need to panic about just after one game.
I'm not saying that it's time to panic, but, again, you knew that's what they were going to try and do.
No, I understand. And like I said,
It's not like it was a surprise attack. It wasn't a sneak attack. You knew that was what they were going to try and do. That's their entire offense is Dameon Pierce.
I understand. And it's a 17-game season. Not every game's going to go perfectly according to script. So, yeah, like I know, like you made great points. Like they knew it was going to happen. How do you not stop it? But it works out like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying. I'm hoping it was the short week that just threw them off, which, I mean, you got to say it was, because all of these games that have been played on Thursday night, most of them have been horrible, low scoring. Not a lot of big plays because you don't have the time to prep for the teams. People think that football, it's just you've run into each other at practice and then run into each other on game day. Like no, there's so much mind games and game planning around the game of football that people don't understand. Like the average fan that never played, or even just like I just said, the average fan. There's plenty of fans that never play football understand what these guys go through week in, week out. So that short week of having pretty much probably 2 days of film and then 1 day of a walkthrough, and then going out there and trying to put that in game speed is got to be pretty tough. And it's really showing every Thursday night. I know the NFL won't, but I wish they'd get rid of Thursday night games because they are just awful.
Well, not since they just signed that big new Amazon contract. They certainly aren't. But
absolutely not.
Now they're going to Friday too, on Black Friday next year.
Yeah,
they got to put some better games on that Thursday night schedule too. I mean, it has just been abysmal.
Been the worst.
I don't even think that, like, even if you had two good teams, so it's like the game might not be that good because, like I said, there's not time to prepare for it. Your body's not right. It kind of looked like the Eagles' defense were out there making business decisions not to get hurt when Dameon Pierce was running people over because, they're probably still sore. A couple days in the ice bath isn't enough. You got to be in there for a week.
Well, I hate to say business decisions don't win championships.
Yeah, I know, but
and granted, I'm with you, Kyle. I understand that you're going to have games like this in a long season, and not every game's going to be perfect. But it does bring a little cause for concern because it's not the first time that we've seen them get gashed on the run game.
Right, and that may be the weakest
giving up
part of the
120 yards a game rushing. That's not good at all. We're used to holding teams under 100 yards.
Right. There's way too much money on that defensive line.
Right. They more adjusted in the second half. A lot of that rushing total, if I remember correctly, was in the first half. They kind of made the adjustment in the second half, which is what you want to see from a locker time adjustment.
Yeah. No, I get it. But all right. So here's my analogy for this. The Houston Texans are like a one-armed boxer. The Eagles at this point are Mike Tyson. Thursday night football or not, short week or not, if you're Mike Tyson, you could beat a one-armed boxer, no training camp after you ate a steak dinner, and you're slow and lethargic.
That's an interesting analogy there.
Think about it.
I get what you're saying. Real quick, I wanted to circle back to what Jake said. He brought up the casual fan. Just a quick, funny little story here. So my boss at work is a Cowboys fan, right? Says, they're the best.
Fire him.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fire the boss, right? Yeah. Okay.
Goddamn right.
So the other day we're talking football and he comes in and he's like, man, the Cowboys have been doing really well this year. I just don't – I haven't seen a lot from Amari Cooper. I don't know what he's been doing. And, like, we all look at him and he's like serious as anything. Like how do you not know a player of that caliber has been traded and you call yourself a fan? Like, just – ultra casual type thing to say, like, just ridiculous, but just thought I'd bring that up.
Oh my God. Tell the man to buy a fucking fanny pack and take up bird watching.
This is the same guy. This is the same guy that never heard of cryptocurrency. They didn't know who Elon Musk was. So I mean, it's
he's under a rock.
Yeah, he's all work centric, but it's kind of just he said that and we're all kind of like, are you serious? Just a little funny thing to bring up or whatever.
And not one of you guys had the fucking nuts to be like, hey, that guy got fucking traded, right?
No.
Not one of you guys could do it.
But you're a fucking dumbass. How are you our boss?
Just a room full of betas like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, where has Amari Cooper been?
I don't want to say that. I mean, we normally watch or listen to the podcast the next day in the office at work, so I don't want to say nothing too negative about him. I appreciate you letting us play it in the shop, so thank you for that.
Oh, Thanks for listening, guys.
Absolutely.
Your boss
Shout
is the
out,
man.
Rob. You guys got anything else on the game?
Nope. 8-0. That's it.
8-0, baby. I'm telling you, waking up undefeated every week has been fucking awesome. That weekly recap was brought to you by our brand new friends. You may have seen it already in that little video that Jake put together, but I cannot speak highly enough about this new sponsor. If you're into hockey, listen to some of the hockey podcasts out there. They are entrenched in that culture, and I'm thinking through Sundays for the Birds, we can entrench them in the football culture as well. That is Canadips CBD pouches. If you've ever done dip in your life, or if you just love CBD and all the health benefits it gives you, if you want to feel relaxed, I'm telling you, these Canadips are fucking amazing. I bought these today. Shout out Infinity Smoke Shop. Was able to get some before we get our little care package from our friends at Canadips. So shout out Infinity Smoke Shop for having them. These things are awesome. 10 milligrams of CBD per pouch. I've already ripped 2. The flavor lasts about 2 hours per pouch. I made sure to pick Jesse up a can as well. That's why he's diving in the comments here. It says, Birds of Words, let's keep this thing going, fellas. Mayor, look forward to seeing you this week with some lip boomers. That's right. We got the lip boomers right here. Canadips. We're packing uppers, downers, and horseshoes all football season long. Thanks to our friends at Canadips CBD. Make sure you use our link down in the description or our promo code OCSN. Get you 20% off your entire order. 100% hemp-derived CBD pouches that come in these awesome flavors like tropical mango. 20% off. Shout out Canadips. Shout out. All right, boys. Well, you ready to dive into Dog of the Week since we just talked about the Houston game?
Yes, sir.
All right. Time for everybody's favorite segment. That is Dog of the Week. Dog of the Week brought to you by our friends at Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company. Right in the heart of Croydon, Pennsylvania, 909 Ray Avenue. Check them out for all your craft beer needs if you're in the Lower Bucks County area. And they're also available anywhere fine beverages are sold. Also, shout out Sterling Pig Brewing Company out in Delco. That's Delaware County. Out in Media, make sure you check out the tap room out there. Pick up some of their awesome beers that they have as well. Great craft beers, great session IPAs, and overall just smooth sipping beers. Check them out. That is sterlingpig.com. Boys, Dog of the Week. Let's go around. Who we got? Nominees. I know it's kind of a tough one. It was, like Jake mentioned, it was kind of a sloppy game, and nobody really had like a huge game. It was kind of spread out.
One guy had a huge game.
2
And
guys.
that's the Dog of the Week. Up the middle, Hargrave had a monster game, 7 total tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. Without his play, I think the Texans are in the game a little closer than what it was because the pressure up the middle from him was amazing. And who better to give a Dog of the Week than those dogs on the defensive line? And Hargrave was the top dog on that defensive unit.
Well, it's about time he showed up, first of all. We haven't heard from him since the first half of last season.
No, Washington game probably when everybody was in on the sack party.
I feel like he's kind of had a good year all year.
I think he's playing a contract year, so.
You know how them boys be in them contract years.
Yep.
Shout out Miles Sanders. So,
Exactly.
Javon Hargrave, I mean, it's not a lot of times that you get a 3-sack game from an interior defensive lineman. So, on the normal case, he would be my Dog of the Week, but I said it before the game, and so I want to stick with it. I called Dallas Goedert. I said he was due for some kind of game. Finally went over 100 yards. Finally scored a touchdown. He's due for some touchdown regression. So I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert for my Dog of the Week.
All right. I like it. Before I give my pick, I just want to slander Jake's real quick. In a game like that where the defense did what they did in the run game, and it's great that he's getting to the quarterback, but it's just tough for me to give anybody on the defensive side of the football that allowed 5+ yards a carry dog of the week.
Yeah, but I mean, he had 3 tackles for loss. So
yeah,
3
as an
sacks,
interior
7
defensive
total tackles.
lineman.
He had 2 sacks last week and 6 tackles. So he's picking up.
All right.
Maybe
Well, I'm going on brand with mine.
Can join the club.
I'm going on brand with my pick. And you know what? It's not a sexy pick. The numbers weren't that sexy. But you know what? We haven't given him dog of the week yet. And he's been doing this game in and game out. He takes care of the football. Completion percentage has been pretty high this year. I'm going with my man Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
21 for 27,
Shut it off.
243 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Oh my
He
God.
took care of the game.
Twice, and he lost one of them. And it wasn't for Kelsey being downfield again. He would have lost 2.
Tell him.
2 fumbles is not good, not pretty at all.
First
and one was when he was running downfield when he should have been holding the ball right, protecting it. Lost the ball,
on
and
brand
Kelsey
thing
jumped
for
right
you
on it.
I've ever heard of, picking Jalen Hurts for dog of the week.
We got to give it to him sometime.
Maybe that time's coming, maybe, but it can't be this week.
No.
So again, if we're to vote,
If we're being honest, I kind of forgot about the 2 fumbles.
If we were to vote here, I think Javon Hargrave should get it. I just wanted to stick with Goddard because I called his big game.
Yeah, Goddard was my second guy.
Yeah,
I
just wanted to bring him up just because I did say it, but I think it's pretty obviously got to be Javon Hargrave if I were to have a vote.
Well, you do have a vote, so what's your vote?
Oh, I do have a vote. Normally, I'm not used to getting a vote that matters. Yeah, my vote's Javon Hargrave.
Well, because normally it's like unanimous, but there's actually
normally
a couple of choices.
When you're doing it for an election, of our officials, and it doesn't matter because vote doesn't count. But anyway.
We're getting political up in here.
We'll stay away
Dial
from
it in,
that one.
boys. Dial it in. All right.
Hargrave's my vote.
My vote's going to go for Dallas Goedert, but if you guys want to give it to Hargrave, I got no problem with that.
Dude, the way he impacted the game, I can't believe you're still upset that he allowed 5 yards per carry. Like it's a whole defensive
I'm
line.
pissed at the defense. I know. I'm pissed at the defense.
Linebackers,
the linebackers were really bad.
I'm pissed at the defense.
And Gardner Johnson
impacted that game.
Is probably the worst tackling safety or worst run defending safety in the league.
Oh, I'm not going to go all with
hell of a coverage safety, but.
He's got to learn the bit of the run game too. This is his first full year playing safety.
Exactly. So I'm not gonna kill him. And
all right, we going Javon Hargrave.
It's Hargrave.
Dude, all right, Javon Hargrave, dog of the week.
Another thing though, man. I mean, tackling is bad all across the NFL. Like they just don't practice as much as they used to. Like it's not just an Eagles or
see. My thing is though, they're professionals now. They should know how to tackle. They should. I mean, it should be like, I don't know, muscle memory by now.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, a byproduct of the rules.
It just keeps going.
We talked about it, earlier, before how it's an offensive league and how players have to let up and there's certain areas they can hit. I mean, all this contributes to more offense and I think worse defense.
Yeah, no doubt. But I also think that, like I said, people were making business decisions and it's not cool. Take a guy's fucking head off.
Business decisions don't win championships.
Yep.
All right. You guys ready to start previewing? We got Eagles, Washington Commanders, those fucking commies on Monday Night Football. By the way, the mayor's going to be in attendance, boys. I just bought some tickets.
Yes, sir.
Boys going.
I'm over to you.
Yes, sir. Shout out Jake's friend. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you selling me the tickets as cheap as you did, baby. Woo-hoo!
Yes, sir.
Actually gonna be my first Eagles game. Been an Eagles fan my whole life, and actually never been down to a game. So
I'm telling you, you're gonna love the seats too. It's literally in the middle of the field goal, upper level, row 1. It's like watching the coaches film. You see everything breaking down in play. It's nobody in front of you, and there's only the first upper level, the first like 5 or 6 rows is a section and it goes up. So you really only have like 5 rows behind you. So they're great seats. I love them.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I can't fucking wait.
Just don't get too drunk because I know when I first went there, it was a night game, and it's like the overhang is right there. So if you're scared of heights, it's kind of
Oh yeah, I'm scared of heights.
yeah, it's kind of nerve wracking.
Are you really?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a heights
Oh,
thing,
my.
man. Big scared of heights guy.
I looked over it. There's like a little club level under, so it's like, all right, if I fall over, I'm just gonna break my back. I'm not gonna die, but I might break my leg or my arm. So then I was like, all right, I'm calm now. I can break a bone as long as I'm not dropping 400 feet to the ground. I'm good.
Yeah, man. No, I can't wait. Now I'll tell you who definitely can wait. That's going to be one bench pony himself, one Carson Wentz, on his Philly. I guess you can't even call it a revenge game or a revenge tour because, again, he's riding a pine pony. I'm sure Carson Wentz ain't looking forward to it. You know he's going to get booed. I know for a fact. I know one guy that has season tickets right by the away team locker room, right by the tunnel. And I know for a fact this guy's going to be ripping into them when they run out. So the guy's brutal.
Sure, he won't be the only one.
No, he won't be. He definitely won't be alone. So shout out Johnny Eichenberg. But no, yeah, this is going to be awesome. That I kind of wish Wentz was playing. I'd love to start that sack party up again. He starts playing hero ball. He starts holding on to the ball too long, looking for a play, and then it's fucking Sack City. But unfortunately, he's riding a pine, so we got to try and chase down Taylor Heineke. And he's pretty elusive, The arm talent isn't necessarily there, but he can sure run around and make some plays if they're there. If coverage breaks down.
I know Heineke's not as good as this guy, but if I had to say who he reminds me of is like Brett Favre. He can move really good. He has a solid arm, and he'll throw it in harm's way, but he also will make some plays doing it. So we just got to take advantage when he's making those boneheaded throws.
I think he's more like Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew's more like careful with the ball, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking more like he's a backup quarterback that everybody hypes up entirely way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just love his demeanor on the football field. Like, you can just tell it means, like, same thing with Gardner Minshew. You can just tell it means so much to him. He's just he's
His
everything
team plays for him.
Yeah, like, when people talk about intangibles and all that bullshit, like, I think that shit's overrated. But he brings everything to the locker room that Carson Wentz doesn't bring to the locker room.
Yep.
And, like, honestly, I think Washington has a better shot with him in there than they would with Carson Wentz. I mean, we saw what happened the first game with Carson. I think it was going to be more of the same. It might actually be more of a competitive game for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's funny. They showed on the radio, they were talking about last week at Washington game, they flashed up their season ticket sales for next year, and it was wasn't our boy Carson Wentz. It was Heineke up there. So
but how crazy is that? That's who you're showcasing.
Sure, Wentz got a little upset and probably cried at home or in his tree stand.
How do you guys feel about them getting Chase Young back?
Is he making his debut this week?
That's what I hear.
He's a hell of a player. He'll probably be on a snap count. My guess is his first week back. So
yeah, he's no way he's in football shape.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much of an impact, but he's a tremendous player when healthy. But I mean, Washington's a terrible defense overall, right? Like, they got a lot of draft capital on the defensive line, but they haven't been good. That secondary is atrocious. They just released William Jackson. I mean, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith should be able to do what they want when they want. It's a 10.5-point spread kind of seems like a lot, but the Eagles should cruise in this one again. Probably 9-point victory, I would think. Something along that lines, just underneath the spread once again.
Yeah, speaking of just underneath the spread, I had $50 on them to fucking cover last week. Thanks a lot.
You never bet your team. That's first rule, man.
No. I always bet my team because I know my team better than any other team in the league.
Yeah, that's the counter argument, but I don't know about that one.
It usually does pretty good for me, but not last week. Any other matchups you guys are interested in seeing? I know, Kyle, you just mentioned the secondary. I think it's going to be another huge game for Devontae Smith, you saw what he did to this same Commanders defense just a few short weeks ago when we were live at the Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, go ahead. My bad.
No, if you want to answer that question, I was going to bounce to what I'm looking for, the matchup I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think Devontae Smith will do fine, but I look for A.J. Brown to continue rolling. I mean, you gave me my flowers earlier for Miles Sanders and my call on him for this year, but boy, was I wrong about A.J. Brown. I really did not expect this kind of year from him. I love the talent, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't think Hurts and him were going to be able to connect the way they have. And I got lucky. I drafted him in 1 out of my 30 leagues. In that league, I am killing it in. Top of the scoring, and it's a best ball league, so I got high hopes for it. So I'm hoping it's A.J. Brown, not Devontae.
Absolutely. Jake, what's a matchup you're looking forward to?
I'm looking at our secondary versus their receivers. They got some solid, quick receivers. McLaurin's really starting to turn it on now that he has an actual quarterback throwing him the ball. Curtis Samuels always seems to have a breakout game every other game this year. Dotson's still pretty solid, and so we gotta get pressure. Like I said, force him to make those crazy throws where he's trying to fit it in tight spots, tip the ball in the air, and get some turnovers. So that's the main matchup I'm gonna be watching all game long is our secondary versus their wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm looking to see our defensive line come out and have another sack party. I'm looking to see one of the highest paid defensive lines in football cause some havoc up front against what I consider to be a pretty piss poor offensive line. There's no reason why Heineke shouldn't be running for his life in this game, and I'd like to see minimum of 4 sacks.
4 sacks. So that's always a good total. And kind of piggybacking off what you said about the offense line not being good. You guys are both upset with the run defense last week. They should absolutely not have any problems versus the run offense of Washington. Antonio Gibson hasn't been great. You know, he kind of got benched. They brought in Brian Robertson, the 3rd-round rookie from Alabama. And I know you're an Alabama guy, but, dude, he's just 3 yards running to the line of scrimmage, cloud of dust every play. So the Eagles' defense should have a much better job of being able to prevent run plays, not average 5.5 yards per carry, and kind of set up that offense for, long down and distance and maybe be able to set up that sack party we're all hoping for.
Absolutely. While we're on this, you guys ready to preview Dog of the Week again?
Yes, sir.
Make our picks. I'm not going to run the video again.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around here. Jake, start it off. Who's your pick for Dog of the Week? Who do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be A.J. Brown. I just think they're really finding a connection now. You see that week in, week out. I know teams are going to try to stop him, but they're scheming him open as well. I mean, I know he's great at getting open, but they finally got a guy that's just like, all right, we're going to plan around him, and then we'll fall to plan 1B with Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert. So it's nice to have that. But A.J. Brown, I think he catches a quick slant this week and takes it to the house for like 65 yards. I've been waiting to see one of those. He's gotten close to get one of those slants and taking it, but got caught by his feet a couple times. So I'm hoping this week he can take it to the house.
So here's a question for you in regards to that. I'm kind of curious. If you're Washington, who are you keying in on out of those 2 receivers? Like who gets the double
Brown.
team?
Yeah, you got to go A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
You go A.J. Brown because of what he's done recently, or do you go Devontae Smith because he gashed you last time you played?
You go to the better player, A.J. Brown.
But my thing is, can they even double team anyone? I mean, you have a tight end that can't really be covered by a linebacker. You have a second receiver who's a hell of a route runner. And you have a stud number 1, and then you have a running attack that you always have to be prepared for because they can just shove it down your throat anytime that they want. So it's really hard to, send 2 guys over to A.J. Brown when we blast you up the middle with Sanders or Gainwell or Hurts for that matter. So it's got to be hard for defenses to plan for this offense. And it seems like each week Sirianni and Steichen are throwing out something different that teams haven't seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's just be clear. I think Devontae Smith is a fine receiver, but A.J. Brown's the guy. He's a top 10 talent. He's the number 1 pass option on a majority of the plays. Like, if defense is planning the scheme to stop somebody, like it's AJ Brown. He's the focal point of the offense. But
I agree.
As far as dog of the week, I'm going to keep it on the defensive side of the ball, kind of piggyback off what Jake said earlier. I'm going to go with Avonte Maddox. Terry McLaurin's had a resurgence the last couple weeks with Heineke, but Samuel just lives in that short and intermediate part of the field, catches a ton of dump offs. If you want to keep the team behind the sticks, you got to stop the run first off, which I don't think they should have a problem doing. And you got to limit Samuel catching those short dump offs on the early downs to keep him in the long down distance. So I'm going to go with Avonte Maddox for my dog of the week.
And he is one of the best cornerbacks in the league in that slot role, especially when it comes to jumping those short to intermediate routes. So
he is on an injury report, but questionable. So I'm sure he's playing. It's probably the same lingering injury that he's had the past couple
all
of weeks.
season. I like it. My pick for dog of the week. Oof. You guys took a lot of the good ones.
Jalen Hurts.
No, you know what? I got a fuck you. I got one for you, a little bit out of left field, a little bit of an obscure one. I keep waiting for Quez Watkins to break out. And I think he's just going to get some favorable matchups if you're able to send out some 3 wide receiver sets. I think he's got a chance to burn this questionable Washington secondary. So I'm interested to see if we can get maybe a nice deep ball to Quez Watkins and kind of have a little coming out party for my man, because he's fucking fast, but it just doesn't seem like the plays are really there as much as I'd like to see them. Especially
I just don't think he's a polished route runner yet, and I think they don't like that because a lot of times last year you'd see him rounding off his in routes and stuff, and when you're supposed to cut on a dime, and he's rounding them off, leading to mistimed throws. So I think that's why they're not designing as many plays for him, because he's just not crisp with his route running yet. But he's young; he can learn, and he could run a streak and score 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, he's got that kind of speed.
Yep. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm still pissed he got caught game 1 last year against the 49ers at the 1-yard line on that 95-yard should have been touchdown play, and then we didn't score at all. So I was really pissed because they were talking about how he said he was the fastest guy in the league all year, and then he goes and does that. You asshole. Plus, I was at the game, so it really pissed me off.
Speaking of speed, and you talked about AJ Brown getting tripped up on those slants a couple times. Did you see what's his name? Devontae was busting on AJ Brown, calling Pascal faster than him because he got caught on a couple and Pascal outran him. AJ was having none of that. That was really funny.
People were comparing it to the Ajayi thing when he got caught, I think, the Dolphins game, and they were all ragging him on it. Like, look, you look like you're in slow motion. There goes my Madden speed rating. It's going way down.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, you guys ready to roll into Not So Sharp Picks of the Week? Hopefully try and get some in before Thursday Night Football kicks off.
Yes, sir.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
Dollar.
Money Talks, Not So Sharp Picks of the Week, brought to you by our friends at Norse Beards. Use Norse Beards for all your beard care needs. You want to look like the Norse gods. You want to look like Jake Long. You want to look like the mayor of John Street. Use our friends at Norse Beards. Also brought to you by Righteous Felon Beef Jerky. Plain and simple, the best jerky you're ever going to have from our friends at Righteous Felon. Use promo code OCSN for 15% off your entire order. And also brought to you by our friends at Fanatics. Use that link down below in the description. Let them know Sundays for the Birds and Old City Sports Network sent you. Fanatics for everything official. And it is Not So Sharp Picks of the Week, so show me the money. Kyle, Not So Sharp.
Oof. I wish I could show you the money, but let me tell you, it's been a rough week for me. So quick recap. Last Thursday, I handed out a 10-leg same-game parlay for Thursday night, and I hit 8 out of 10 legs. The 2 legs I missed was a Robert Quinn 1 sack, and AJ Brown. I needed 1 more catch, and I would have cashed a cool $6,500. So that was a little rough. Then Saturday I come in, I go 1 of 6 on my college picks. Missed the 3 or 4 parlays I had to. Sunday couldn't hit a bet. Kind of reset. Monday I was like, all right, I'm going to regroup. I had Isaiah Likely over on his yards. First quarter, second possession of the game, catches a 25-yard catch. Like, all right, cool. This is well on its way to cashing. Doesn't have a catch the rest of the game, despite leading the team in targets. Just an abysmal week. So then I tell myself I'm going to take a couple days break. And I am. And I'm like, oh, Thursday night, this slate blows. These teams suck. I'm not going to bet. But lo and behold,
That's when you bet.
Lo and behold, I still put a bet. I couldn't lay off of it. And I got a 4-leg.
We need something to
same-game
make these
parlay.
close your nose specials interesting.
Oh, I mean, you got to. And I was going to lay something regardless. I told myself all day I wasn't going to bet. But I do have something. It's 4 legs. I got Cordell Patterson, 40-plus rush yards. Bit it down a little bit. I got Kyle Pitts, over 35.5 receiving yards. He's kind of been heating up a little bit lately. That should definitely be achievable. And then I just got 2 of the lowest receiving props you've ever seen. Ian Thomas, over 3.5 receiving yards. He's hit that in all but 2 games this year. Now, granted, the last 2 games are the ones he hasn't hit it, but again, should be achievable. And give me 1 screen pass to Dante Foreman, over 6.5 receiving yards. So 2 really low numbers in there. I'm a sucker for low numbers. I always have been. That's plus 741. $25 will pay you out 210.25. Make sure you guys get that bet on FanDuel, as they got a $25 get your money back if you miss 1 leg for the primetime games tonight.
Right on. So I got a little same game parlay cooked up for tonight also. I also have a little bit of love for Dante Foreman. I have Dante Foreman anytime touchdown score. Kyle Pitts, alternate receiving yards. I tease him down a little bit, 25-plus yards. I also have Drake London at 25-plus yards. And then I needed something to juice it a little bit, so I went ahead and I took the under for total points tonight. It's going to be a little bit of a slop fest. I feel like it's either going to go off and be a 55-point game, or it's going to be a 20-point game. No in between. The over-under was set at 41.5, and I took the under. I just don't trust either one of these offenses. You look at if you're in the FanDuel app and you're looking at the passing yards over-unders, I want to say P.J. Walker was at like 163 for his over-under, and I think Marcus Mariota was at like 155. Like, just abysmal. Like, I just don't trust these offenses to put up massive amounts of points. So under 41.5, that pays out. I threw $10 on it to win a cool 113. Odds are plus 1,035. And I also took Kyle's advice on another little prop bet. And if it hits, Kyle, you the man. We're going Ian Thomas, backup tight end. He's plus 1,200 for an anytime touchdown score. I had a free $5 bet sitting in there. It was going to expire tonight. So we're going for it. We got Ian Thomas, anytime touchdown score, as a little bonus play for you guys out there. Jake, what do you got for us?
I didn't do a parlay for tonight's game. I did just a 4-game parlay for this weekend. I got the Buccaneers beating the Seahawks minus 2.5. And I took the Giants money line over the Texans. Upset here. I take the Vikings over the Buffalo Bills because I think that Josh Allen injury is more serious than they're leading on. He could possibly miss the game, miss a few weeks. But if he plays, I mean, you've seen against the Jets last week, that arm wasn't the same. So I would take Vikings over the Bills. And then my last one, another upset. Well, not really because the Raiders suck, but I got the Colts money line over the Raiders because I think the team's going to get fired up for Jeff Saturday. Even though, he's never been a coach, but he's a fiery guy. He's Indianapolis Colt great legend. So I think he'll have those guys fired up and ready to kick the Raiders' ass. And the Raiders are also dealing with their own injuries. Renfro's out, and so is Waller. They both, I think, hit the IR today.
You're taking the classic betting. You're taking the classic betting strategy. Take the team with the interim head coach on their first game.
Yep.
Now I think that usually works because the the interim coach comes from within, and it's usually an assistant coach that everybody likes. This is really unprecedented. I mean, I can't think of another time where a team brought in an interim coach from outside. Granted, he's a longtime Colt. He's a Ring of Honor member.
He was involved with the team somehow.
More front office, though.
Coach. Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm interested to see what happens. I actually went the opposite way on that game. I ended up taking I took Oakland in that game. I don't know. It just seems like such a dumpster fire in Indianapolis. I just don't know if I trust them to even win that game.
Same with the Raiders.
Yeah.
I was expecting the Raiders to be like a 12-win team this year. Fucking won 2 games. I thought Derek Carr was having a great year.
Step back.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's all Derek Carr looks for, which I'm not complaining because I have him on a couple of my fantasy teams. So keep throwing him the ball. But yeah, I like the Colts in that game. The only thing that worries me is it's in Las Vegas, but Las Vegas Stadium isn't really a football stadium. It's like a party with like dance clubs and shit.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dallas is. So it's not like a football atmosphere. It's a party atmosphere.
Yeah, it's the Bellagio with a football field.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. You want to throw a little gentleman's bet on there? $5?
Yeah, sure.
All right, little gentleman bet, $5.
The Raiders.
Yes, sir.
We're taking better money line.
If you hit that 4-leg parlay, and you put $10 on it, you'll win a cool $177.82.
There we go. Right on. All right, guys, you ready to roll into final thoughts?
Yep.
I give our score prediction.
Absolutely. So we'll do our score prediction, then we'll roll into final thoughts. Almost forgot predictions. Kyle, we'll start with you. What do you got? Final score prediction, Eagles, Commanders, Monday Night Football.
I keep saying this for every Eagles game, and I feel like it's going to be lower scoring and closer than what people expect. And I feel like I'm thinking the same thing again. I said earlier, I think they don't cover the 10.5 points.
Yeah, would you say it was a 9-point victory?
Yeah, something odd, just below the spread. We're going to go 24-18. Something odd, something weird scoring.
All right. Jake, what do you got? Final score prediction, Eagles, Washington, Monday Night Football.
I'm going to say 31-21.
10-point margin, they cover.
Yeah. But no, they'll be just under because it's 10.5.
Is it 10.5?
Yep. So, but no, I think the Eagles should dominate the game. It does kind of worry me because Heineke is the better quarterback of the two. So, and it's always tough playing division rival that second game, especially after you whooped their ass the first game. So, but hopefully it being prime time at the link, they're going to hear the mayor screaming his head off up top, yelling at Wentz, telling him to ride the bench. So, I think the place will be rocking. And hopefully Heineke folds under pressure like a former Washington quarterback and Kirk Cousins used to do and still does. So, yeah, I think the Birds run away 31-21.
I like it. I also got the Eagles at 31 points. I just think it's a good number. I got the Eagles 31, Washington football team 18. I think they get a couple late field goals in there.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Birds
all right,
around.
boys. Before we move on to final thoughts, I did want to bring up one other thing. And I kind of feel like sports radio has beat this topic to death this week, but we haven't talked about it yet. And we're at 8-0, not quite at the halfway point of the season. We'll be officially at the halfway point of the season at halftime on Monday. But we're getting there. Haven't lost a game yet. Starts to beg the question. If the Eagles continue to win, and it gets to that point, final week, number one, sit them or start them, your starters. Do you want to try and chase down that notorious Dolphins team and be only the second team in NFL history to go all the way without losing a game?
Ooh, this is always a hot topic, and
I would play them first half. That's it.
first half.
If you win, you win. But I'm not risking a big injury.
Dude, that's a good question, and I don't really have an answer either way. I get both sides of the argument because if you have the first round bye, then it's a extra extended time off, but at the same time, you're not really playing for anything.
Yeah, at that
I
point,
can
you
go
already
either way.
the bye locked up. If you're 16-0, the bye is definitely locked up. So going 17-0 would just be for the fact of being undefeated. And like I said, I would
Right.
play the first half, tell them go out there and get a big enough lead that the backups can't blow it, and then get the hell out of the game and still go undefeated.
Now, so part of this to me is also trying that you're also forecasting, and again, this is a big what if, because we could certainly lose a game between now and then. I hope we don't, obviously, but we could certainly lose a game between now and then. It could happen. But you also have to forecast where you think the Giants are going to be. You know, is it a win and you're in situation for them for a wild card position? Do they want to come out hard and try and spoil our party? You know, to make up for us knocking them out of the playoffs a few years ago when we laid down against Washington. You know, granted, Joe Judge isn't there. A lot of those players still aren't there, but I'm sure the organization remembers it. So you got to think about where the Giants are going to be in that situation also. As cool as I think it would be to come in and be the first team to do it since that Dolphins team and the first team to do it since adding games, that would be awesome, but I don't think it should be a priority. I think if it happens, your backups played really fucking well in that last game. I think honestly, regardless, as long as we have a playoff position locked down, you're sitting your starters there. I mean, I just can't see trotting guys out there for that just to try and get that. You know, you tweak a knee or something like that. A.J. Brown gets hit wrong down around the knee area. You know, it just scares me. It's cool if it happens, but it's not at the top of my priority list. I'm not chasing it.
At top of the priority list.
Yep.
Exactly. Super Bowl or bust, baby.
Well, I'm not
All right,
one
boys.
of these guys that was like, oh, lose a game now, so you don't go in undefeated. Like, no, if we have a chance and we can sit the guys and still go undefeated, I'm taking that. We don't need to lose this game. We don't need to lose the following game. Kick all their asses, and then if you get to rest your guys and go 16-1, oh well.
Absolutely. It's the NFL. You play to win every game.
Yep.
Plain and simple. All right, boys, you ready for final thoughts?
Let's roll.
All right. Final thoughts brought to you by our friends at Lou Guru Custom Clothing. Make sure you use our friends at lougarou.co for all your custom clothing needs. Hit up our friends up north of the border for all your custom clothing needs. Hats, T-shirts, you name it. They got it. They'll take care of you. Just let them know. Sundays for the Birds and Old City Sports Network sent you. Once again, that's lougarou.co. All right, boys, final thoughts. We'll kick it off with Jake Long. Jake, final thoughts.
My final thought is sending out a missing persons report for Fletcher Cox. It seems like every year for the past 4 years, this guy is just does absolutely nothing. He has 3 sacks on the year, 8 total tackles, and hasn't had a sack since that last Washington game. Where the hell are you at? You're supposed to be some studs, defensive tackle still, and all I see is you get pushed around like you're nothing, and it looks like you're not even trying.
Probably the army crawling around his house somewhere.
Probably trying to beat up some girl's boyfriend with a bat. But instead of that, how about you beat one of these quarterbacks into the ground and start playing like your contract says you should be playing? So Fletcher,
You heard
Cox,
it, boys. APV.
missing report. Fletcher Cox. Have you seen him? Hopefully we'll find him Monday night.
They've certainly seen him at the bank. He's certainly cashing some pretty hefty checks these days. Kyle, what do you got? Final thoughts.
So I've been adjusting to the Twitter life. As you know, I'm not a big social media guy. I've been trying to be a little more active over there, just posting some stuff and what have you. And I'll tell you what, Twitter is a real rabbit hole. I mean, you see these guys arguing about something and, it's a sports topic. Everybody has a hot take and then everybody replies. And I find myself scrolling for way too long, reading these arguments. And one I saw this week that was really interesting was somebody was comparing this Eagles team as the same Steelers team last year that started 11-0 and then absolutely choked down the stretch. And I just thought that was absolutely
That was a couple of
crazy.
years ago, right? It wasn't last year.
That wasn't last year?
No.
No,
right, whatever.
no, that wasn't last year because last year Big Ben was throwing medicine balls.
Yeah.
That wasn't last year.
No.
It was within the last couple of years, but whatever. I saw them compare this Eagles team to that Steelers team that went 11-0 to start the year before they choked in the playoffs. And I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there is some questions about who they've played, but this team's not the same as that team. They got a quarterback that's better than what Ben was at that stage in his career. They have a better defense. They got better playmakers. Like, just the fact that somebody made that comparison, I thought was absolutely atrocious. And I just wanted to bring that up and just say that was just one of the worst takes I've seen so far on Twitter.
Absolutely. So my final thought's going to be kind of in a similar vein to yours, Kyle. Number one, you can't control who's on your schedule. What you can control is how you play against the teams on your schedule. And for those of you out there that feel that for some reason for the Eagles to be validated as the best team in the NFL this season, that like to think that we need to defeat the entire Marvel universe to be labeled the best team in football, number one, go fuck yourselves. And number two, we're 8-0. We're the only undefeated team in the fucking league. Josh Allen just hurt himself. Like, there's nobody else at this point. It's the Eagles at the top of the pile.
Is the Eagles the best team in the NFL?
8-0.
I understand the record, but are you saying they're the best team in the NFL?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we should throw a Twitter poll out there, see how the people feel about it.
They're going to agree with me because I'm fucking right.
I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to see where a majority of the people land.
They're going to land on the side of righteousness, which is on the same side of the mayor.
Being Eagles fans that follow the podcast, I want to see how strongly they feel about this team.
They're 8-0. They're the only undefeated team in the league. How much easier does it get?
It's just a question because, the last couple of years, the best team entering the postseason doesn't always win the Super Bowl. It's not how it.
No, I agree. That's not how it always happens. But as it stands right now, the Eagles are the best team in the league. And dare I say, we have one of the most complete rosters in the league.
That's why I think they're the best. The only thing I would say is
it may not be the best roster top to bottom.
Run defense or the two things, but every team has a flaw.
Yes.
What was the two things? Run defense and what was the other one?
And special teams. Besides Elliott. I mean, he missed a 50-something yarder last game, but other than that, he's usually pretty solid.
Absolutely. So, final warning to all you people out there that think, once again, that we need to be absolute world beaters to be the best team in the league. All you got to do is look at the record. Plain and simple. Can't control who you play. All you can do is control the outcome of the games, and they've done it to this point. And any good football team isn't going to come out and look like world beaters every single week. You're going to have some fluky wins. You're going to have games like the Cardinals game where you win because of a missed field goal. It happens every single time. That Dolphins team we referenced earlier, they had a similar outlook. They were underdogs in every single playoff game they played that year. Every playoff game, they were underdogs. And they shoved it up everybody's hoop, and they had a perfect season, and they won the Super Bowl undefeated, only team to ever do it. Just saying.
They won't be popping champagne Monday night because we'll be 9-0.
Damn straight. Fuck those commies. We'll see you guys back here next Thursday. Appreciate everybody rocking with us live here tonight. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube Live. Everybody checking in over on the audio side. Hopefully you got some bets on this Thursday night football game because, once again, it is a close your nose special. We'll see you guys right back here on Thursday next week, hopefully 9-0. Go Birds!
B-A